Good morning. Good morning. Opening day is on Thursday. Is anyone excited? Am I the only one? It is baseball opening day. This is a sign that it truly is spring, even more so than the spring, what is it? The spring equinox, uh, whatever happens on March 20th and tells us that it's officially spring. This is the true sign of spring. It's baseball. Hopes are high. People can't wait. There are some people who actually come alive during this time of year. I myself am a baseball fan. If you are not, please watch this. Pay attention to it because it's not just about baseball. We're using baseball kind of as the metaphor. Uh, it might be boring, it might be trite to say that baseball is a metaphor for life, but it truly is. And I think that you'll get some really keen insights as to why that is and to how we can use the knowledge, right? Because ultimately we are all playing this game called life, and games have certain elements involved in them. Baseball, at its core, is the ultimate game of opportunity. It's a game of taking advantage of opportunities that are given to you. That's all that baseball is. In order to score a run, you have to convert on opportunities. Now, let's get into that a little bit. Obviously, in baseball, when we're talking about that, we're talking about reaching base safely. We're talking about knocking guys in. In life and in health and in weight loss, it's a little different. But one thing that they both share is that the better players are the players who consistently take advantage of those opportunities. More often than not, they're going to take advantage of those opportunities. They're going to convert. In baseball, when we talk about opportunities, we're talking about games and we're talking about at-bats. In life, those games are days, right? They're just individual segments of opportunities that add up to a whole over a season. So in health and weight loss, meals are opportunities as well. Meals are like your at-bats. They're the chance to go in one direction or to go in the other direction. And again, the more often you go in the right direction, the more often you capitalize on an opportunity like a meal to create health, to assist with weight loss, the better your results will be over the long term. It's exactly what we see in baseball. There are various factors that will intervene and interfere in that. But the fundamentals are the same. It is our task always to take advantage of those opportunities for either a better result or a worse result. It's pretty much, it boils down to a binary choice and a series of binary choices that aggregate over time and equal the result that you want. In a baseball season, you do the right things, you convert on opportunities more often than not, and that's going to lead to your team winning. And there's a chance to win it all. There's a chance to win the World Series. In the realm of life, that could be related to a lot of things. That could be related to your business. You do the right things more often than not. You market it correctly. You convert on your leads, things like that. You are going to be rewarded with greater income. Those are examples of wins. And if you do not, you're going to be punished. So when you boil down to it, it's really simple, isn't it? But in actuality, it's not that simple because there are these complicating factors. In baseball, a guy's throwing a ball at you 100 miles an hour. That is not easy. Okay, that is a challenge. And then you have defensive players out there. So even if you hit the ball hard, sometimes you're going to make out. More often than not, you're going to make out. Even when you do the right things. And now we kind of get into the crux of why everyone is not a great player. in life and in health and weight loss. And by the way, I am including myself in that right now, certainly in the realm of health and weight loss, because I have been a good player in the past. But I've not been a good player in the nearer past. In the recent past, I've been a poor player, and as a result, you can see the results. If you look at my face now compared to my face 3 years ago, it's a different shape. So I have been a poor player. So we need to look into why some people are better players than others. And when we talk about baseball and we talk about life and health and weight loss, they share the same elements. Okay. So what do the better players have? Or actually, the better place to start is what interferes with you being a good player? Let's look at baseball. Let's start out with injuries. Injuries will certainly affect a person's ability to take advantage of opportunities, to perform at the level they should perform at. We see this all the time. We've seen careers ruined by injuries. It's similar to life and health also. There are health challenges. There are injuries that happen. And the thing about injuries is it not only affects your ability to perform, but it affects your ability to bring the mental game with you. Because as we know, everything is connected. If you have a physical injury, it's not going to stop at the level of physiology. It generally affects people emotionally, and it affects choices. Just like in baseball. So injuries is one thing that can interfere in our ability to perform, to take advantage of opportunities. Another thing is interest. The better players have the ability to stay interested over a long period of time. Because anybody can be a great player for a game. Anybody could make the right choices for a day and eat healthily and exercise and, just overall do the right things. But everything has an added effect. So those people who are challenged with staying interested, who get bored or who get distracted, those are the ones who are going to make inconsistent choices and perform inconsistently. And we see that in baseball. Some guys are more talented than others. And some guys are able to keep interested. And they keep their intensity up over time. They don't give away at-bats. They don't waste opportunities to the degree that they can help it. And this is why we see some people of greater ability not succeeding to the level of people of lesser ability. Because in a sense, the ability matters less, the raw ability matters less than the ability to apply it. And a necessary fundamental or foundation of applying it is staying interested over a long period of time. And we have a word for those people. We call them nerds. In baseball, the better players, the players who stay interested over long periods of time and have long careers and accumulate a lot of great statistics and who are honored and revered, they are nerds, I assure you. I know one of them. I have a relationship with a former Major League Baseball player. He played over 10 years in the major leagues. Now, he pointed out something fascinating to me, which is that in the history of Major League Baseball, there have been approximately 22,000 people who have played. Only 22,000 people have made it. And of those 22,000 players who made it to the major leagues, about 10% of them have had careers of 10 years or longer. So that's about 2,200 people. In the history of this great game, which has been going on for over 125 years. That's pretty remarkable. And in order to do that, you better be a baseball nerd. And this guy certainly is. And we've had conversations. He's fascinating to speak with. And he went to levels of obsession that most people wouldn't go to. He said for everything he ever did on a baseball field, he did it 1,000 times in his head. Even when he wasn't playing, he was thinking about playing. So you see, that really prepared him, all the preparation that he did, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the nutritional, everything he did was designed with that purpose in mind, and he was able to stay interested in that process. Whereas other guys who achieve some success, they get less interested, and they get more interested in other things. It's really interesting. I hate to use that word interesting again. It's fascinating. It's exceptional. On a similar note, baseball fans can be good fans or bad fans. They can stay interested over a long period of time and never let that wane, and they can be obsessed for a lifetime, or they can kind of flitter in and out. I am related to a gentleman who is one of the world's biggest baseball fans. He is a Red Sox fan, which is unfortunate in my opinion. He has a shrine to the Red Sox in his house. His dog is named after a famous Red Sox player. His rehearsal dinner was at Fenway Park. I mean, this guy is a crazy, obsessed fan. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's even funnier than that, is the fact that he has a cousin, and this cousin of his is considered the world's greatest Chicago Cubs fan, to the point where he has built a replica of Wrigley Field in his backyard. That's how obsessive a fan he is. So there's something about this family. This is a family of nerds. And in fact, my relative's father, he married into the family, my relative. So his father is a super nerd in the tech industry. And it's not surprising because they just have this capacity. Okay? So we've identified a couple of factors. Here's another factor: loss. Losses. When players aren't succeeding, they end up, or they can lose faith. The losses pile up, and it seems like loss is all they can see. And then it becomes not about playing to win, it becomes about playing not to lose. And those losses pile up, and they themselves are like injuries. And they affect performance, and they affect choices, right? Momentum is a real thing. When people are on our program, when people are doing a weight loss program, when they have that momentum going, things are pretty easy. They're winning. Okay, and let's distinguish now losses of weight, which is a win, and just losses in general, the conventional definition of a loss, which is not achieving what you set out to achieve. Doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do, that's a loss. Those losses compile, and they become a mountain. They themselves become a barrier to succeeding, and they erode belief in self, which is an extremely important factor. Again, let's look at players. The players who believe in themselves tend to perform. Some of them outperform what others would say are their native abilities. Some of them have a lot more confidence than they do raw talent, and vice versa. There have been fantastic players who have struggled with confidence issues. And there have been relatively, I have to say relative, right? We're talking about professional athletes. There have been relatively untalented people who have way outperformed what you would think because of their application and because of their belief in self and because of their interest and faith. These are the factors that win in the end, more than the raw ability. So a lot of it comes down to attitude, doesn't it? and not only in baseball, when we are talking about life. Let's talk a little bit about this aspect of faith. Faith is a funny thing, right? Belief in things not yet seen. And I am not talking about religious faith. Now I'm talking about faith in staying on a course. Because the way that most of us approach life and health and weight loss and all these other games, right? They're all versions of a game. Baseball, certainly. Is that everyone wants that immediate hit, right? We want that immediate win. It's very satisfying. A home run is very satisfying. But again, if we want to win in the long term, it's the compilation of those choices and of the opportunities and taking advantage of. It's the aggregate, it's the added effect that leads up to that. And it takes a good amount of faith to believe that that's true. That what you do at this very moment, how you approach a particular task, is going to lead to an ultimate win. You can do that with your meals. Think about that with your meals. How many times have you had the conversation with yourself and said, it doesn't matter? You know, it's only one meal. It's only one at bat. It's only one game. You know, I'll have another opportunity tomorrow. There is a game every day. And as a result, we don't perceive that opportunities are scarce. But the best players play each game like it's their last. Every at-bat, every opportunity, they take it like it's their last. Now imagine you did that. Imagine you took every day and every meal as if you had to win it. And we know what winning means, right? It means making the right choice. If that were your attitude, then you wouldn't have to worry about health or weight loss, most likely. Right? Again, there are always other factors. But if you brought that with each thing, if you had that amount of faith to know that each individual effort was going to have you achieve that greater whole, that win that you wanted over an extended period of time, you couldn't lose. But the case in many instances are we lack that faith. We get frustrated if we don't see the results quickly. So we perceive that there's not an individual action, event, like a meal, that matters enough. And so what matters more is the perceived victory in that minute, which could be eating the cake or the pizza. That's a sure win. That's something that's real. That's not theoretical. As the, not eating that thing, an example of something theoretical in that moment is if I do not eat this, it will result in me losing weight. But that's so far down the line sometimes, it doesn't seem real to us. And so we will choose that easy win, that sure win in that moment, as opposed to winning that meal and that additive effect that's going to equal weight loss, health attainment, weight maintenance, winning that game. Does that make sense? A great baseball player breaks it down even further. It's every pitch. It's every practice pitch. The amount of faith they have, even in things that are seemingly theoretical, and maybe to them, those things are not theoretical. They're very real. The way they can string things together. Every ground ball in practice, every throw that they make matters. And that's why they achieve the levels that they achieve. So again, as a mental exercise, just imagine that that was the approach. That everything we put into our mouth mattered. That every step we took mattered. And that it was, in fact, going to achieve results. I was in a dojo one time, and for those of you who aren't aware, a dojo is what they call a studio for martial arts. And I was in a dojo one time, and I saw that a sign on the wall, and it said, "Training is a matter of faith." You have to believe that you are going to get better by what you do on that particular day. And you may not see it right away. People plateau for a long time. The greatest athletes in the world, Olympic athletes, they will plateau for a long time. And yet they keep at it for years. Can you imagine competing in an event, let's say a race, a running race, and you have not been able to improve on your personal best for 3 years, and yet you still show up every day, and you still train as hard, and you still make the right choices with your nutrition, and you still visualize, and all of that stuff. It's incredible. I need to speak to someone like that, because I know most of us would give it up. We call that persistence. But that persistence, in my opinion, is completely faith-based. And if we're going to be good players, we have to be able to kind of see that connection between what we do in the moment and the larger picture. And it's hard. It can be really hard to discipline yourself in that way and to fully believe it. You could know it as a concept, but to fully believe it and embody it, that's really something. So these are the ways that baseball is like life, and we have a new baseball season upon us where hope is high for the players and the fans alike. And that's part of the beauty of baseball and why we love it. And I can only wish that hope is as high for each of you individually in whatever you're trying to accomplish in your life. Because you do have this opportunity today. And every meal and every step and every thought. It's all baseball. It's all a game of opportunity and opportunity converted into something substantial. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I hope this was useful. If not, we got to talk a little bit about baseball, and that is never bad. So go Yankees. Let's have a great season, and as individuals, let's have a great season and be great players. Take care.